At graduation, the CEO's daughter revealed an incredible truth about the black janitor that changed everything. The graduation ceremony buzzed with anticipation, the air crackling like a live wire. Students dressed in crisp gowns and caps filled the gymnasium of Westfield High School, an elite institution where connections ran deep and success was an unspoken promise. Among the sea of excited faces, Sarah stood out. The daughter of a powerful CEO, she held the weight of her family's expectations in her heart like a heavy stone. Thoughts raced through her mind, blending pride and an unsettling anxiety. Did she truly live up to the legacy that loomed over her? As the ceremony unfolded, her gaze drifted past her classmates, landing on Mr. Thompson. The school janitor had spent the better part of her high school years quietly maintaining the very halls that echoed with the hopes of students like her. A Vietnam veteran, he cleaned those floors tirelessly, taking pride in every sweeping gesture, every emptying of the trash. A humble man, his stooped posture spoke of battles fought, both in war and against social injustices, but it was his quiet strength that caught Sarah's attention today. Unbeknownst to her, whispers of his remarkable journey circulated through the hall, creating a tension that laced the celebration. Proud student speakers took the stage, launching into lofty dreams and aspirations that mirrored the gilded lives they each inherited. Yet, as Sarah listened, a discontent stirred within her. She couldn't ignore the presence of Mr. Thompson in the back, and the sacrifices that had paved their way. When it was Sarah's turn to speak, a wave of exhilaration washed over her, but it quickly mingled with fear. She gripped the microphone tightly, her heart racing. A quick glance at her father revealed pride shining in his eyes, but as she looked out at the crowd, an unexpected surge of defiance surged within her. Today, she began, we celebrate our achievements and the opportunities we've been given. But I can't stand here and ignore the truth that surrounds us, the truth of those who build the foundations of our success. She took a deep breath, steadying her nerves. I want to talk about Mr. Thompson. The hard-working janitor who embodies resilience and dignity. Before she could continue, gasps rippled through the audience. Heads turned, some furrowed brows while others sparkled with confusion. Sarah pressed on, sharing Mr. Thompson's journey from serving his country to facing economic hardships. As she painted the picture of his sacrifices, her voice grew stronger. He nurtures us in ways you can't measure. His effort proves that success isn't just about wealth. It's about hard work, integrity, and community. The room was still, save for some muffled cries. Could the students in their expensive gowns grasp the depths of her words? A mix of emotions rose from parents and peers, a slew of questions igniting within. Would they let go of their long-held beliefs that defined worth through privilege alone? Just then, Sarah locked eyes with Mr. Thompson. Their gaze met, an unspoken understanding passing between them. She could feel the tension in the room simmering, hearts on a tightrope, capitalism challenged by humanity's core values. This moment, this addressing of inequity, was a bridge being built in silence. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With the emotional weight heavy in the air, Sarah's challenge laid bare the dilemma every wealthy parent had to confront. Could they redefine success together, or would they allow old biases to haunt their futures? The crowd held its breath, standing on the brink of transformation, yet Sarah couldn't help but wonder, was she brave enough to reshape her identity and her family's legacy? The moment lingered, thick with promise and questions that stirred amongst the audience, leaving them suspended in the ambiguity of change. The stillness in the gymnasium was almost tangible, as if time had paused in homage to Sarah's courageous declaration. She took a breath and continued, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. I challenge each one of you to reflect on what our success means. It shouldn't solely be measured by the wealth we inherit but by our capacity to uplift others. The murmurs grew louder, rippling through the crowd. Eyes darted between the students in their luxurious attire and the janitor, who stood in the back, visibly moved. Sarah could see the confusion etched on some faces, the surprise morphing into intrigue. There was a shift happening, a crack in the veneer of privilege that had stained their school spirit for too long. As she stepped off the stage, adrenaline buzzed through her. Students rushed by her, enveloped in chatter, but she felt a magnetic pull toward Mr. Thompson. He seemed as deeply affected as she was, his eyes shone with unshed tears of gratitude. She crossed the gymnasium, determined to reach him. "Mr. Thompson," she called out softly, feeling a rush of connection like they shared a secret pact. The janitor turned, a gentle smile breaking through the weight of his worries. "I hope I did you justice up there." "You did more than that, Sarah," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. "You honored every man and woman who works behind the scenes, every person who deserves recognition for their dedication." A mix of relief and pride washed over her. The moment felt profound, as if they were lighting a match against a dark past, illuminating a path for conversations yet to come. "I just wanted people to see that your voice is powerful," he interrupted gently. "With it, we can push for change. But remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's a series of small steps." As she nodded, she was aware of the crowd's shifting dynamics. Whispers were now filled with curiosity rather than critique. Peering back at her classmates, she spotted Claire, the president of the student council, who had a reputation for sticking only to the surface of issues, now deep in conversation with another student. They were pointing in her direction, their expressions a mix of contemplation and surprise. Did they understand? The rest of the ceremony progressed, but Sarah's heart beat to its own rhythm. The speeches felt hollow, overshadowed by the new revelations she had sparked. When she sat down beside her father, he gave her a firm nod. She could see it in his eyes, pride shifted into understanding. For the first time, she felt that perhaps her voice mattered, not only in their home but in the broader community. After the ceremony, Sarah moved through the throngs of students, exchanging quick smiles, but her focus stayed on Mr. Thompson. She had one last question for him, a question she had been holding back. "Mr. Thompson, is there a way I can help?" It slipped out before she could second-guess herself. His smile widened, revealing the glimmer of hope in his gaze. "We need more voices like yours, Sarah. Consider organizing a community day, somewhere we can bring everybody together and share stories. It could bridge the divides." Her heart raced at the thought of it, envisioning a day filled with laughter, conversations, and revelations. But then, a wave of doubt hit her. What if nobody shows up? "There will always be someone who is willing to listen," he assured her, the wisdom of experience backing his words. With that, he stepped back, melding into the crowd of faculty and students, leaving her with a spark of inspiration. As Sarah stood there, her mission coiling within her thoughts, she felt a budding courage rooting her feet firmly to the floor. Was she ready for such a challenge? Could she truly be a changemaker? After what felt like an eternity of contemplation, she finally whispered to herself, "I'll try." With renewed determination coursing through her, she turned to scan the audience once more, her eyes settling on Claire again. This time, something else bubbled beneath Sarah's hopeful heart, a twinge of competition, perhaps? What if Claire stood as an obstacle rather than a potential ally? She couldn't help but wonder what role each of her classmates would play in the journey ahead. The crowd began to disperse as the graduation echoes faded into the background. Sarah knew she had opened a door, but now, what lay beyond? The anticipation hung in the air like fog, waiting to be unveiled. Sarah woke up the next morning, her heart racing as she replayed the events of the previous day in her mind. Sunlight poured through her bedroom window, illuminating the pile of papers on her desk where she had jotted down ideas for the community day. The initial thrill of inspiration mingled with a creeping sense of doubt. Would anyone really come? And how would her classmates respond to the idea? Climbing out of bed, she felt the weight of the world resting on her shoulders. As the CEO's daughter, expectations loomed over her like storm clouds. What if she failed to gather support? Her voice had stirred something in her peers, but would they rally behind her vision? After a quick breakfast, Sarah decided to take a walk. The fresh air would clear her mind. As she strolled through the tree-lined streets of her neighborhood, her thoughts drifted back to Mr. Thompson. What would he think of her plan? Would he stand by her as a mentor? It was clear she needed to talk to him soon. Reaching the local park, she found a bench under a large oak tree and sat down. Children played nearby, their laughter echoing around her like music. It was a reminder of the joys of community, the very essence she sought to harness. But then a familiar voice broke her thoughts. "Hey, Sarah. What are you doing here all alone?" It was Claire. Her bright sun-kissed hair bounced as she approached, her signature confidence radiating in every step. "Oh, just thinking," Sarah replied, forcing a smile. She wasn't ready to reveal her plans just yet. "Thinking about the ceremony? You really did a number on everyone," Claire chuckled, but there was something in her tone that felt almost dismissive. "Thanks. I just wanted to start a conversation." Claire's expression shifted, revealing a hint of curiosity mixed with skepticism. "Well, you definitely did that," she said, pausing, as if gauging Sarah's sincerity. "But starting a conversation is one thing. Actually making a difference? That's another." Sarah felt her heart sink. Was Claire going to dismiss her efforts? She took a deep breath and pushed through the discomfort. "I want to organize a community day. A chance for everyone to come together and share stories. We could highlight those who work behind the scenes, like Mr. Thompson." Claire raised an eyebrow. "You think that'll work? Do you have a plan for how to get people involved?" "Yes. I've got ideas." Suddenly, her voice was a bit stronger, fueled by conviction and determination. "But I could use your help. You're good at rallying people. As student council president, you have connections I could only dream of." Claire appeared thoughtful, her competitive nature flickering to life. "You really want people to show up? It'll take more than just good intentions, you know." "Please, Claire, we can do this together," Sarah urged. "Imagine the impact we can have." Claire studied her, contemplating. "Okay, but I'm not making any promises. We'll need a solid plan, and we should probably get Mr. Thompson involved from the start." Relief washed over Sarah. Collaborating with Claire could open doors, even if it meant walking a tight line of competition. But she couldn't shake the unease. What if this partnership was a facade? Each girl carried her own burdens of expectation and perception. As they bantered about ideas, a fleeting thought stuck: she might need to keep her eyes open, just in case Claire's ambition turned against her. Later that night, Sarah stood by the window, staring at the dimming sky. She felt the flutter of hope in her chest still, but deep down, anxiety coiled tightly. What exactly could they achieve together? Would the community truly embrace the challenge she envisioned? As she prepared for the next day, a single question lingered, the hardest one of them all: was she ready for battle? In her heart, she knew the journey was only getting started, and the real test lay ahead. What surprises awaited her as she inched closer to her dream? The next day, Sarah woke up feeling a mix of excitement and terror. Today would be the day. She had a plan to pitch to Claire and Mr. Thompson. Sitting on the edge of her bed, she took a few deep breaths, steeling her nerves. The thought of standing in front of her classmates and the teachers made her stomach twist. What if they laughed? What if they turned her down? She dressed quickly and grabbed her notebook, filled with ideas, sketches, and a timeline for the community day. As she moved through the house, the noise of the world outside filtered in. Car horns, distant laughter, and the chirping of birds blended into a steady hum that both comforted and unnerved her. Was she really ready to face them all? After school, Sarah found herself pacing back and forth outside Mr. Thompson's office. Every so often, she glanced at the door, her heart racing. What if he didn't believe in her idea? Or worse, what if he didn't care? She forced herself to breathe, trying to visualize a positive outcome. Finally, she knocked softly on the door. When it creaked open, Mr. Thompson stood there with an inviting smile. "Sarah! Come in, come in." He ushered her inside, his warm presence somehow calming her nerves. She sat down, clutching her notebook tight. "Mr. Thompson, I came up with an idea for a community day. I want to bring everyone together to celebrate the unsung heroes in our school." His brow furrowed slightly, his curiosity piqued. "Unsung heroes? That sounds interesting. Tell me more." Taking a deep breath, Sarah launched into a passionate speech about the importance of community and connection, her words pouring out like water from a burst dam. She mentioned Mr. Thompson's role as the janitor, how he had always supported the students while working tirelessly behind the scenes. "I want the students to see people like you, to appreciate the work you do every day," she concluded, searching his face for approval. Mr. Thompson sat back, a contemplative look in his eyes. "That's a noble idea, Sarah. But you might face a few challenges. Have you thought about how to get everyone involved? What if they don't show?" Swallowing her doubts, Sarah nodded decisively. "I'm working with Claire, the student council president. We have a plan. If we can create buzz, motivate people to share their experiences, we can make this happen." He smiled, obviously impressed by her spirit. "Getting the student council involved is a great move. And if you need any support from me, just ask. I'd be honored to help." Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. Mr. Thompson believed in her idea. She could already see the flickers of hope igniting within the community, the unity she longed for slipping into focus. But as they discussed logistics, her phone buzzed on his desk. It was a message from Claire. "Meeting at Starbucks? Need to nail down our strategy." She felt a surge of determination. They really needed to bring this vision to life. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We'll keep you in the loop." As she stepped outside, the sun blazing down felt warmer, more inviting. She had direction now. But anxiety crept back. Though Claire might help, was she truly on Sarah's side? Or was she only after her own interests? It was a question that lingered, pulling at Sarah's subconscious. Later that evening, while she prepared for their meeting, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that shadows lurked around her ambitions. Before long, she'd need to prove that this wasn't just a fleeting idea. With every moment that passed, the stakes felt higher, and determination wrestled with doubt. Standing in front of her mirror, she whispered to her reflection, "I can do this. I have to do this." With each word, she found strength she didn't know existed. At that moment, her phone pinged again, pulling her from her thoughts. A notification flashed, "Meeting confirmed." "Are you ready for what's next?" Sarah's heart skipped a beat. What did that mean? She hesitated for a moment, the weight of her ambition colliding with uncertainty. A part of her wondered, was she prepared for the trials to come? Or would the complexity of her world become too overwhelming to navigate? As she moved into the night, a singular thought echoed in her mind: the real challenge was just beginning. Would she discover the true essence of community, or would she be disillusioned by it? Sarah arrived at Starbucks, the comforting scent of coffee enveloping her as she walked through the door. She scanned the bustling cafe, searching for Claire. A wave of anxiety washed over her again, the shadows of doubt creeping back. Was Claire genuinely excited about the community day, or did she see it as a chance to boost her own status? She pushed the thought aside. This was about something bigger than either of them. Claire waved from a corner table, a broad smile on her face. Sarah felt a flicker of relief. It was comforting to see her friend so enthusiastic. She joined Claire, setting her notebook on the table as Claire took a sip from her venti iced matcha. "Okay, spill." Claire said, her eyes bright with anticipation. What's the latest? Sarah took a deep breath. I talked to Mr. Thompson. He's on board. He believes in the idea, but he warned me about potential challenges. She laid out her thoughts, detailing the vision she had for the event, hoping to ignite the same excitement in Claire. That's amazing, Claire said, her expression thoughtful. But we need to make sure everyone feels included. We can't let this flop because of lack of participation. Sarah nodded. Right. How do we create buzz? Get our classmates to share their stories, maybe even get some of the unsung heroes to speak. Claire leaned back, a sly smile creeping onto her lips. Let's do a mini promo. A video with interviews or testimonials. I can help with that. I have some connections in the media club. As they brainstormed different tactics to engage everyone, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of hesitation. It was exciting, but could they really pull this off? Claire, Sarah hesitated, what if we don't get the turnout we're hoping for? What if we spotlight the wrong people? The smile faded from Claire's face as she processed Sarah's words. We won't know until we try, Sarah. You're good at getting people to connect. We just need to keep reminding everyone why this is important. But in that moment, doubt curdled in Sarah's stomach. What if Claire was the one steering the ship off course? They spent the next hour sketching out ideas, laughter and enthusiasm weaving through their conversation. For a moment, everything felt perfect. But as they wrapped up, Claire's phone chimed. She glanced at the screen, her expression shifting slightly. Sorry, I just need to respond to this, she said, her voice suddenly clipped. Sarah watched her type with fierce focus, an unexplained knot forming in her stomach. Was it something about their project? Or was it something more personal? Claire put her phone down, and that bright smile returned as if nothing had changed. Okay. Let's make a plan to hit the hallways during lunch tomorrow and get some excitement built up. As their meeting came to a close, Sarah couldn't shake the nagging feeling in her gut. On the cusp of something great, was she also on the brink of heartbreak? They left Starbucks, the night air cool and fresh against her skin. She felt invigorated, yet unsettled. As they walked to the parking lot, Sarah caught a glimpse of the moon, its silver light spilling over the pavement, illuminating her path ahead. Are you ready for this? Claire asked, her voice bright, but Sarah noticed the lingering edge of uncertainty in her tone. I think so, Sarah replied, her heart racing. But what if it's not what we expect? As she glanced back at Claire, the question lingered between them, thick with possibility. In pursuit of their vision, they were stepping into the unknown together. But would they emerge united, or would hidden agendas tear them apart? With that haunting question in her mind, Sarah's pace quickened, the weight of anticipation heavy on her shoulders. The unveiling of their community day was near, but so was the risk of disappointment. What if the truth buried beneath their ambitious dreams was more complex than they could ever have imagined? The next day unfurled like a tightly wound spring, buzzing with energy, yet tinged with apprehension. Sarah woke up early, her heart a chaotic rhythm of hope and anxiety. She took a moment to breathe in the day, savoring the cool morning air that streamed through her window. The community day was less than a week away, and the thought made excitement bubble within her, momentarily silencing the doubts that clawed at her mind. She picked out her favorite blue sweater, a color she felt gave her a boost of confidence. As she stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her hair, the reflection stared back with a mix of determination and uncertainty. Today was important. Writer and visionary, she needed to channel everything she had into making this event a success. At school, the hallways roared with chatter, students buzzing about assignments and weekend plans. Sarah and Claire had scattered printed flyers across the campus the day before, inviting participation and sharing their vision for Community Day. Would it be enough? She still fought the whisper of doubt that echoed in her mind. Are you ready? Claire appeared beside Sarah, her bright smile infectious. She wore a bold red shirt, a statement of confidence that Sarah admired. "Yeah, just nervous," Sarah admitted, glancing over at Claire. "About how people will react if they will even care." "Of course, they care." Claire laughed, twirling a strand of hair. "Just wait until they see what we have planned. We've got to focus on the good vibes." As they strode toward the cafeteria, Sarah noticed small groups of students huddled, their eyes occasionally darting to them. Were they talking about the event? Or were they dismissing them altogether? Anxiety twisted in her stomach. Just then, Claire waved at some friends, pulling Sarah into the fray. "Hold on. I want you to meet Jamie. She's an ace at organizing events." Claire introduced her to a girl with a confident demeanor. Jamie's presence radiated energy, and for a moment, Sarah was captivated. "Keep me in the loop. I want to help," Jamie declared, grinning. "This event needs to make a real impact. Let us make it memorable." The optimism lit a small flame in Sarah's heart, and she dove into conversation, sharing their vision and plans. As they laughed and brainstormed, the weight on Sarah's shoulders felt lighter. Maybe they could pull this off after all. But amid the excitement, she caught Claire again glancing at her phone, the usual joyful expression slipping just enough for Sarah to catch that slightest flicker of something else. "Everything okay?" Sarah asked quietly as they stepped aside from the chatter. "Yup. Just checking on a few things," Claire replied quickly, her smile faltering. Before Sarah could press, another group approached, eager to offer support. And just like that, the moment slipped away, leaving behind the nagging question that flickered in Sarah's mind like a faulty light bulb. What was weighing on Claire? Classes passed in a blur, but the feeling of anticipation resurfaced each time Sarah saw groups of students discussing their involvement. It was happening. But as lunchtime approached, the thrill curled into anxiety, her heartbeat quickening as she and Claire prepared to present their ideas across the cafeteria. In front of their peers, the energy felt electric. They stood together, side by side, two minds fueled by passion, yet Sarah couldn't shake the looming worry: would this moment define their friendship or unravel it? "Okay, everyone," Claire called out, her voice ringing with carnal enthusiasm. "We are here to talk about Community Day." But as she spoke, Sarah found herself staring at Claire's face. The same smile that had lit up their early discussions now held an air of something unspoken. Was Claire worried about the turnout? About something else entirely? Clouds of uncertainty loomed closer. The stakes felt higher, trailing behind every excited student reaction. What if this wasn't just about Community Day for Claire? What if it was something deeper, touching their friendship in ways Sarah wasn't prepared for? With every word Claire delivered, Sarah's heart pounded, the anticipation melding with dread. Could they hold it together? As the crowd buzzed with excitement, she prepared for the moment that would change everything. What hidden truths lay beyond this day? Would they emerge together, or was a rift waiting to shatter their bond? Sarah's heart raced as she watched Claire speak, the crowd hanging on her every word. They had worked so hard, but suddenly, the moment felt so much bigger than either of them. Sarah tried to focus on the faces in front of her. Some were nodding, a few others looked confused, while others buzzed with low murmurs. Claire continued, her voice a beacon of enthusiasm, but Sarah felt a tug of anxiety each time she glanced at her friend. There was something in Claire's eyes, a flicker of doubt that went unnoticed by most. What was going on behind that bright smile? Just then, a hand shot up from the crowd. Ethan, a classmate known for his strong opinions. "What exactly makes this event important? Why should we care?" The question pierced through the excitement like a needle. Sarah felt Claire stiffen beside her, but before she could respond, Jamie leaned in. "It's important because it brings us together. We all want a community that feels like home, right? And Community Day is our chance to make that happen. We all want to be involved, to make a difference." The crowd murmured again, the energy shifting as students weighed the response. Sarah's heartbeat pulsed in her ears, desperate to catch a spark of inspiration from somewhere. Claire turned to her, hesitating. "Sarah?" she prompted, turning the spotlight towards her. Caught off guard, Sarah stumbled for words. Right. It's not just about a fun day," she began, her voice shaky yet resolute. "It's about creating connections. It's about realizing how much we can change for each other. Each of us plays a part in the bigger picture." She could feel the weight of the crowd bearing down, and for a fleeting moment, she saw a shift in their reactions, eyes shedding doubt, expressions softening. "Yeah. And think about future events, projects. If we can bring everyone together this time, imagine what else we can create in the future." Claire jumped in, clearly sensing the shift alongside Sarah. Her infectious energy was restoring hope among their peers. The chatter grew louder as students began to nod, conversations igniting. A wave of relief washed over Sarah, but her gaze still darted to Claire, who seemed a little lost in thought. What was eating at her friend? They were in this together, yet Claire's uncertainty hung in the air like a storm cloud. The meeting wrapped up with excited chatter about food trucks, games, and art displays. Students filtered out, buoyed with ideas and plans. Sarah exchanged smiles with Claire, but the moment of celebration felt heavy. They had succeeded in generating interest, but Claire's lurking apprehension loomed closer. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" Claire said, her voice lower than moments before. They found a quiet corner, away from the excitement of the cafeteria. "What's up?" Sarah asked, trying to keep her tone light, but her heart thudded as she searched Claire's eyes for answers. Claire hesitated, glancing away momentarily. "I just have a lot on my mind. Sometimes, I feel like I'm not pulling my weight in this, you know? This event means a lot to you, and I can't help but feel like what?" Sarah pressed gently, the warmth of their friendship softly tugging her words. "I don't want to let you down," Claire admitted, her confidence wavering. "What if I fail?" Sarah stepped closer, putting a hand on Claire's shoulder. "You won't let me down. We're a team. We lift each other up, right?" The sincerity in Sarah's voice brought a flicker of light back to Claire's eyes. "Yeah, you're right," she smiled, the weight feeling a little lighter. But as they stood together, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that beneath Claire's reassurance lay deeper worries, tugging harder at the fragile fabric of their friendship. They were on the brink of something big, but would they navigate the challenges together or spiral apart in the moments that followed? As they left the cafeteria, Sarah's heart brimmed with uncertainty once more. Was this really just about Community Day, or was it a turning point in their lives? And how many more secrets lurked just beneath the surface that could test their bond? Sarah and Claire walked quietly through the bustling hallways, their thoughts heavy with the weight of the meeting. Laughter and shouts echoed around them, but Sarah felt like they were in a bubble, floating apart from everyone else. "Do you really think they believe in this event?" Claire broke the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. "Of course. Can't you see how they reacted when we spoke? It's just, there's always a little bit of doubt, you know?" Sarah replied, a hint of hope creeping into her words. But inside, she questioned if that doubt stemmed from Claire's insecurities or if it was something bigger lingering in the air. "You just need to trust that people want to be part of something special." I know. Claire sighed, her eyes trailing to the clustered groups of students chatting excitedly about plans and ideas. What if our plans fall flat? What if it's just another event that doesn't go anywhere? We have to take that risk. Sarah's voice felt more confident, but doubt swirled within her. That's what makes it exciting. If we don't try, we'll never know how much we could achieve together. They stepped into the courtyard, the cool autumn breeze brushing against their skin. Leaves danced around them, red and gold like flames flickering in the afternoon sun. Sarah inhaled deeply, taking comfort in the fresh air, but even that couldn't quell her worries. Claire's face was clouded with hesitation, and it made Sarah's heart ache. Suddenly, Claire stopped walking, her eyes filled with determination. You know what? You're right. We can't let fear control us. Let us do something different, something unexpected. What if we reached out to more people, not just from school but the whole community? That's an amazing idea. Sarah's eyes lit up. We could invite local organizations, have booths, even ask for volunteers from the neighborhood. It's all about connection, just like we said. Claire nodded, a spark of excitement chasing away her earlier doubts. Exactly. This could really be something. As they continued their conversation, ideas flowed freely, each one sparking the next. The once lingering weight began to lift, replaced with a fresh wave of enthusiasm. They brainstormed about attractions, activities, and ways to engage with local businesses. Okay, how about this? What if we invite local artists to showcase their work? It would add so much color to the day. Claire suggested, her passion igniting as they walked. That's brilliant. And we could hold art contests. Sarah added, her smile growing wider. She watched as Claire began to transform, the doubts fading, her confidence blooming. As they reached the entrance, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm glow over everything, almost as if encouraging them onward. This is really happening, isn't it? Claire breathed, glancing at Sarah. Yeah, and we can handle whatever comes our way. Together. Sarah affirmed. But just as they turned to enter their next class, a figure loomed ahead. It was Ethan. He leaned casually against the wall, arms crossed, a slight smirk on his face. You two seem pretty excited about this community day, he said, his tone dripping with skepticism. You really think you can pull it off? Don't underestimate how hard it can be. His words hung in the air like dark clouds, and Sarah felt her excitement wane. Sure, it might be hard, but that's part of it. Claire countered, though her voice trembled slightly. What else would we do? Just sit back and complain? Ethan shrugged, that smirk fading into a more serious expression. Just don't get your hopes up. It's easy to start strong, but finishing is the real challenge. Good luck with that. He turned away, walking off without another word. Sarah and Claire exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. The earlier spark of excitement dimmed, swept away by doubt once more. What if Ethan was right? What if the struggle ahead was too much? But Claire took a deep breath, her resolve returning. Let him doubt us. It'll only make our success even sweeter. Right, Sarah nodded, feeling a flicker of hope reignite within her. Together they could tackle anything, but what if more doubts arose that tested their friendship? As they stepped into their classroom, an unexpected sense of determination enveloped them. But in the back of Sarah's mind lingered one last thought: what else would they have to prove before they could truly make a difference together? The air in the classroom felt thick, charged with a mixture of anticipation and tension. Sarah sank into her desk, her fingers tapping nervously on the surface. Claire sat beside her, flipping through her notebook filled with hastily scribbled notes from their earlier brainstorming session. Maybe we should start reaching out to those organizations tonight, Claire suggested, her voice laced with determination but still tinged with anxiety. We can create a list of who to contact. Totally, Sarah replied, glancing at the clock. Time seemed to stretch as the minutes ticked slowly by. I want to get the word out as soon as possible. Claire bit her lip, her brow furrowed. What if they say no? They might, but we also have a chance they say yes. We won't know unless we try, Sarah encouraged, but even she felt the unease creeping back. As the class began, Sarah forced herself to focus on the teacher's voice. But all she could think about were the small, daily challenges she and Claire had to navigate. Doubts were like shadows, creeping in at every turn. During lunch, she spotted Ethan across the cafeteria, laughing with his friends. A stab of irritation shot through her. How could he be so dismissive of their dreams? After classes, they met in the library, a cozy nook filled with the smell of old books and whispers echoing off the walls. Both girls pulled out their laptops, but the silence stretched as they opened their project documents. "Maybe we need a better plan," Claire said suddenly, her voice breaking the stillness. "What if we create a timeline? That'll help keep us focused." "Great idea." Sarah grinned, feeling a spark of that earlier excitement return. But as they dove into the logistics, doubts crept back in. What if the timeline becomes overwhelming? "Hey, we can divide the tasks. You get the contacts, and I'll handle social media." "It'll be fine," Claire replied, her voice firm. Just then, the library door creaked open. A familiar face peeked in: Daniel, the quiet artist from their art club. He approached them, looking shy but determined. "Hey, I heard about what you're doing. Can I help?" Sarah exchanged a quick glance with Claire, excitement bubbling within her. "You want to help us with Community Day?" "Yeah. I could create some posters and flyers," Daniel offered. His enthusiasm manicured the dull edges of their worry. "Absolutely. That would be amazing." Claire beamed. As they began discussing ideas, the three of them formed a makeshift alliance. It felt good, invigorating even. Sarah could feel her heart racing with anticipation. But the clock continued to tick, and with every passing moment, reality set in. Each new idea brought a layer of responsibility. Would they be able to pull it all together? After their productive session, Sarah decided to reach out to her mom, who had experience organizing events. With a few swift taps on her phone, she sent a message. Claire watched her curiously. "What did you say?" "I asked if she could give us some tips." "Smart move," Claire nodded, her cheeks flushed with enthusiasm. But they both knew the risk was only beginning. Uncertainty lingered just outside their little bubble of hope. Their own insecurities loomed, waiting to surface at the most inconvenient times. That evening, as they finished packing their things, Sarah received a reply from her mother. The response was encouraging, but along with it came a warning about the unpredictable challenges that lay ahead. "We need to stay united, whatever happens," Claire said as they headed out. "Agreed," Sarah replied, her resolve strengthening. Yet, as the sun dipped behind the horizon, an unsettling thought brushed against her mind. Would unity be enough when real obstacles emerged? As they walked home under a canvas of stars, the weight of the unknown loomed larger than ever. What would they face next on this journey of determination? The day of the Community Day dawned bright and full of promise. Sarah woke up with a flutter of nerves in her stomach, excitement coursing through her veins. This was the moment everything had been building toward, the culmination of their hard work and determination. After weeks of planning, idea sessions, and unexpected challenges, it was finally time to bring the community together. She pulled on her favorite blue sweater, the fabric soft against her skin. Glancing in the mirror, the familiar reflection looking back at her carried both confidence and uncertainty. Today held everything. It was about connection, about acknowledging the unsung heroes of their lives, especially people like Mr. Thompson. Arriving at the local park, Sarah was greeted by a flurry of activity. Stalls were being set up, vibrant banners were hung, and the air was filled with anticipation. Laughter echoed around her, echoing like music that stirred her heart. She spotted Claire and Jamie, deep in conversation near the art display, their creative ideas sprouting like wildflowers in spring. "Hey, you made it!" Claire shouted, a carefree smile illuminating her face. She was wearing a red shirt that mirrored her enthusiasm, an anchor amidst Sarah's swirling emotions. "I wouldn't miss it for the world," Sarah replied, feeling a warmth swell in her chest. This day meant everything. It was larger than just a celebration, it was hope taking shape, a bridge connecting lives. As the festivities kicked off, families gathered, laughter intertwining with the sweet scent of cotton candy and grilled hot dogs. Mr. Thompson appeared, a gentle beam of pride etched across his face. He stood at the entrance, welcoming visitors with open arms, embodying the heart of their endeavor. Hours passed, full of activities that engaged the community and highlighted the unsung heroes. From local artists showcasing their talents to heartfelt stories being shared, Sarah watched as people began to connect in ways she hadn't imagined. The transient shadows of doubt that had haunted her began to fade with each smile, each story of resilience, every handshake exchanged, but just as hope felt tangible, anxiety stirred again as Sarah spotted Ethan leaning against a nearby tree with his friends, a pointed look cast in their direction. Was he waiting for them to fail? It shook her, but she knew deep down that this occasion wasn't about proving him wrong. It was about lifting each other up, celebrating community. As the sun dipped towards the horizon, they prepared for the closing ceremony and address thanking everyone who participated. It was time for Sarah to step forward again, just like at graduation. Taking a deep breath, she approached the microphone, feeling the weight of every moment slip into place. The crowd fell silent, anticipation hung heavy in the air. "Thank you all for being here today," Sarah began, her voice steady yet resonating with emotion. Today wasn't just an event, it was a reminder each person here, each story shared, has forged a sense of community we can carry forward. Her heart swelled as she caught Mr. Thompson's eye, the gentle encouragement in his gaze brightening her spirit. "We've all faced our battles, and it's the connections we make that help us overcome. Let today spark something greater, a vision of unity, strength, and purpose." Applause erupted like a wave crashing against the shore, and for a moment, Sarah felt invincible. The moment held a pulse of collective realization, echoing through their hearts as they embraced the change within themselves. Afterward, Claire approached, gleaming with exhilaration. "We really did it," she said, wrapping Sarah in a tight hug. "The turnout exceeded all my expectations." As they pulled back, Sarah's gaze drifted toward Ethan, who stood apart from the bustle, his expression unreadable. But something was different now, his demeanor had softened, and for the first time, Sarah saw a glimmer of respect in his eyes. "Perhaps change is more achievable than I thought," he admitted, stepping forward. "What you both accomplished today is real. And it matters." With those simple words, the tension dissolved. The earlier doubts drifted away, and the success of Community Day became an unshakable affirmation. They all looked around, seeing their classmates begin to engage with the legacy they had started. The day wrapped up with laughter, the joyous faces of community members glowing like lanterns. As the evening sun cast a warm embrace over the park, enveloping them in its golden light, Sarah felt a surge of belonging wash over her, a reminder that together they could achieve anything. As night fell, the stars twinkled overhead, reflecting the light in Sarah's heart. She faced her friends Mr. Thompson, Claire, Jamie, and realized they had begun to build something transformative. Change had taken its first step today. Together, they had woven a tapestry of community that would grow and flourish, and in that moment, Sarah knew she was ready for whatever came next. With unwavering conviction, she turned to her friends, smiling wide. "This is just the beginning." As they joined together, their hearts overflowing with promise, Sarah couldn't help but think of how far they'd come and how much further they would go. This was a call to action, not just for her journey, but for everyone moving forward. Now, more than ever, it was time for them to bridge those connections, to inspire others, to make sure this wasn't just a one-time occasion. The real work, the real journey, was just beginning, and you, dear friends? This is your moment to be part of something extraordinary. Subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the good vibes rolling. We want to hear from you. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Be part of the movement.